We live in an era of polarization, where every issue seems to divide us into hostile camps, blind to nuance and complexity. But in the realm of economic prognostication, an unusual consensus has emerged: the dismal science is resolutely undismal. As the world nervously watches the tug-of-war between inflation and interest rates, our financial high priests in their ermine robes seem remarkably sanguine. Sure, prices may be elevated and borrowing costs onerous, but the overall vibe is one of cautious optimism, leavened with just a soupçon of furrowed brows. At the vanguard of this curiously upbeat brigade is none other than Jerome Powell, maestro of the Federal Reserve, who recently delivered a masterclass in Delphic utterance. With studied nonchalance, he allowed that taming inflation might be a tad more protracted than initially anticipated. But his air of unruffled competence seemed to say, "Trust me, I've got this." Across the pond, the redoubtable Christine Lagarde displayed a similar serenity, a unité d'humeur with her American counterpart that would have warmed the heart of Jean Monnet. While acknowledging potential bumpiness ahead, Madame Lagarde exuded a unité de doctrine and fish confidence that by le milieu of next year, that pesky 2% inflation target would be firmly in les poches. Now, I'm no econometrician, and my grasp of aggregate demand curves is admittedly shaky. But even to my modestly trained eye, there seems an awful lot of self-assurance among our monetary myrmidons, given the magnitude of the challenges we face. The American economy, we're told, remains quite strong, even as that ghastly inflation dragon keeps puffing smoke. Europe's disinflationary process is supposedly unfolding with gratifying inevitability, notwithstanding the odd contretemps from the Levant. Are spiraling mortgage rates and double-digit food price hikes mere bagatelles, then? A bit of uncomfortable turbulence on our placid economic glide path? I'm reminded of the insouciant financiers who, on the eve of the 2008 meltdown, spouted serene platitudes even as the subprime mortgage crisis metastasized around them. There was always a flurry of soothing technobabble about repricing risk and restoring market confidence. Then came the crater. To be sure, our present economic augurs have vastly more credibility than those dinosaurs of yore. Powell is widely admired for his steadiness, while Lagarde has shown herself an able hand on the tiller during crises like COVID-19. And it's true that employment data, however lagging, have thus far been robustly positive on both sides of the Atlantic, but I detect an almost willed insouciance in their comments, a desire to project imperturbability in the face of vexing crosscurrents. Whether it's psychological balm for jittery markets or an excess of institutional pride, there's an unwillingness to validate the nagging sense of unease that lurks beneath the headline statistics. Because for all the talk of moderating wage pressures and bumpy paths to respectable inflation, the deeper reality is one of compounded uncertainties. Rising interest rates are notoriously slow agents, their effects unfolding gradually through an economy's complex capillaries. What if demand remains obdurately robust? What if corporations prove able to sustain pricing power in the face of higher borrowing costs? What if just-in-time supply chains unravel further amidst escalating geopolitical tensions? In such a scenario, the soft landing Powell envisions could swiftly turn into a bone-jarring stall, the kind that prompts panicked talks of new monetary tools and emergency re-anchoring of expectations. Those dread phrases have a way of drifting up from the catacombs of historical crises when circumstances go awry. Perhaps, though, I'm being too much of a Jeremiah, muttering dourly by the waters of economic Babylon. Our present stewards of monetary policy are, after all, clear-eyed realists who have stared into the abyss before. When push comes to shove, they'll have the fortitude to apply the harsh remedies needed, even at the cost of wide opprobrium. And yet, I can't shake a lingering sense of disquiet, as if we're tensely awaiting some fresh squall line on the radar. For all their well-bred imperturbability, even esteemed central bankers can be taken by surprise when the weather shifts. Sometimes the dismal science resists breezy reassurances, no matter how authoritative the source. Beneath the veneer of cable news certitudes, I sense a deeper uncertainty, a roiling of subterranean forces that may yet defy our best-laid calculations. There's a storm brewing out there, my friends. I just can't quite read the barometric tea leaves. All I can recommend is prudence, humility, and keeping the storm shutters handy.